All right, traders, here we go. The watch list video for, is it Friday already? Yep. Wow. Friday. Well, tomorrow's Friday. Friday, May 6th. A very, very interesting last couple of days. I already talked about in the video yesterday that the SPY, we had the FOMC, and then it just started running for the last, 40 minutes or so, maybe. Yeah, it started 2:35. So actually, it was longer than that. So it was about an hour and a half. It just did not look back. It was unbelievable. And the Dow ended up like 900 something points plus, and then in one day completely erased that massive gain from yesterday all the way back down. So again, I've been talking about underlying weakness, and I would argue that we saw it again today. Some hat tipping going on to the chat room. We had CYN on Bounce Watch, one of my favorite setups actually. Really, really strong move. Then 3 days down into that buy zone near the daily 20. And then fast forward to 5-minute candles. I had already had this typed out, ready to send it into the chat room, that I like this back over 350. And then, and this often happens in our chat room because so many of us know what to look for. Somebody beats me to it. So Keith R posted an inside fives idea, which is basically back through 350. Here's the opening 5-minute candle. And remember, the daily was overdue for a bounce. So it topped out at 351, put in an inside fives, it topped out at 350. So basically the idea is back over 350, which happened right there. And the thing never really looked back and ended up going to 475. That is a massive percentage gain. And really, even in about 10 or 15 minutes, a massive percentage gain on what we would call a very ugly day for the market. So I love the teamwork in there. I can't say enough about it. I also mentioned INDO as a Tokyo, somewhere right about here before it broke the high of day. Got a big move there. That's also in my notes to share, but wasn't my favorite one. SOUN, I called a second mouse through 15. So there's the opening candle there, topped out at 1546. Down, this was already on the watch list, by the way, and started to curl back up. I like the second mouse entry through 15, knowing that the high of day was just above. And we got a nice move from the 15 break, went to 1688. Again, remember, that's a $1.88 move in our favor, without really looking back over its shoulder on a very, very ugly day. So, and then I also mentioned, and this one I did not take, I mentioned EHTH, and I'll show you the setup. Second mouse through 11. So the 5-minute candles here. Yesterday's high, 1148. And then today's early high, it barely broke 11. But again, it had great relative strength. Went to 1110 and then back down. So as it curled back up, I thought, okay, if we get back through 11, the next catalyst, which was the earlier high of day, is only a dime above, and then you had yesterday's high above that, and you've got a strong stock. So my idea was back through 11. The worst case stop probably would have been about 25 cents, and it ended up chopping back and forth above and below 11 for about a half hour or more before finally kind of taking off, and it ended up making it over 1180 at one point. I didn't take it though because the market was weak. So I just didn't want to fight the overall market when that one triggered. But the other two, CYN, INDO, the other three, SOUN, all nice trades, again, in a very, very ugly market. So proud of the teamwork in the chat room, as always. And I did nothing all afternoon. Anyway, what are we watching for tomorrow? I'm going to put SOUN back on watch. It's only been trading for, 6 days? But great relative strength to the market today. BLTE, I actually think Wayne made a call through 15 late in the day. I actually made that call earlier, but when it got this late and the Dow was down like 1,200 points, I didn't take it. But he's a better trader than I am. He did take it and still made some money on it. But great relative strength, right, in a very, very weak market. So we are going to watch that one tomorrow. ENVX hasn't rolled over. It's kind of chopping sideways. And if you count how ugly today was, I do think it's still worth keeping on watch for a potential long. EHTH. I'm going to put that on watch just because of its relative strength to the market. Remember, I make my money between the bells. I do not hold overnight. So NLST, again, another one with great relative strength. We'll see if it gives a follow-through setup. Bounce Play ICE, which just announced they were buying some other company, and they got slapped on that. But maybe it's overdone here to the downside. I mean, it's fallen from 120 down to pretty close to 100 in a few days on massive volume. So I do want to keep that on Bounce Watch. FRPT also goes on Bounce Watch. Just feels like it might be a little bit overdone to the downside. This was almost 120 probably 2 weeks ago. So it's, it's almost been cut in half there. I'm definitely going to watch that for a potential bounce. CYN, I already talked about the great call today by Keith R. in chat. Closing well off its highs, but it was strong enough in a weak tape. I'm going to watch that one. Speaking of relative strength, HDSN, big breakout today on a weekday. So we'll see if that gives any kind of follow-through setup. And then a couple more that are potential gappers for tomorrow. BBIG, as I'm talking to you in after hours, this is trading at 350. So potential gap tomorrow, which we'll treat it as a gap play after the open and see if it gives a setup. And the same goes for Dash, which is DoorDash. As I'm talking to you, is trading at 79.50. They reported earnings today. So I'm going to watch that one tomorrow too. We'll add other gappers in the pre-market, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet tonight. I'm done babbling. See you guys in the chat room in the morning.